Stephen Hawking, Triumph over ALS, and the Cosmos Introduction. Stephen Hawking, a name synonymous with groundbreaking achievements in theoretical physics, is remembered not only for his vast contributions to our understanding of the universe, but also for his extraordinary resilience in the face of a debilitating illness. Despite being diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis at the age of 21, which left him almost completely paralyzed and unable to speak without technological assistance, Hawking defied expectations. Over the decades, he went on to become one of the most recognized and influential scientists of his generation. His ability to confront a grim diagnosis with intelligence, wit, and relentless determination became an inspiration to millions, and his work on black holes, the origin of the universe, and cosmology revolutionized modern physics. This is the story of Stephen Hawking's triumph over ALS and his lasting legacy in science. Life and the birth of a curiosity. Stephen William Hawking was born on January 8, 1942, in Oxford, England, on the 300th anniversary of Galileo's death, a fact that his parents considered an omen of his future scientific greatness. His early life was marked by a natural curiosity and a fascination with the world around him. Despite growing up during a time of war, he was raised in a loving and supportive environment. His father, Frank Hawking, was a medical researcher, and his mother, Isobel Hawking, was a secretary. Hawking often joked that he had inherited his intellectual abilities from his father, though he would later attribute much of his academic success to his own dedication and curiosity. Hawking attended St. Alban School, where he was recognized for his academic potential, although he was never particularly motivated by traditional schoolwork. Instead, he loved solving problems and tackling mathematical puzzles. Hawking went on to study at University College, Oxford, in 1959, where he studied physics and began to develop his interest in cosmology. His time at Oxford was characterized by deep engagement with the sciences, and it was during this period that he began to formulate the ideas that would shape his later groundbreaking research. After graduating from Oxford with first-class honors in 1962, Hawking pursued a PhD in cosmology at the University of Cambridge. Here, he began working with some of the most brilliant minds in theoretical physics, including the renowned mathematician Roger Penrose. Under Penrose's guidance, Hawking developed an interest in the concept of singularities, points in space-time where gravitational forces are so intense that they warp the fabric of the universe. This focus would eventually lead to his most famous scientific work, The Theory of Black Holes, the ALS diagnosis. A life altered in 1963 at the age of 21, Stephen Hawking was struck by an event that would change the course of his life forever. He began experiencing difficulty with his motor coordination, stumbling and having difficulty speaking clearly. After a series of tests, he was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, a degenerative disease that causes the gradual breakdown of motor neurons. The prognosis was devastating. Doctors told him that he had only 2 years to live. ALS is a rare, progressive condition that affects the nerve cells responsible for controlling voluntary muscles. It gradually robs individuals of their ability to move, speak, and breathe, leading to complete paralysis. In Hawking's case, the diagnosis was particularly cruel. The disease not only threatened to take away his physical abilities, but it also cast a shadow over his future as a scientist. ALS, with its rapid progression and the loss of speech and mobility, would seem to make intellectual pursuits almost impossible. However, instead of succumbing to despair, Hawking chose to fight. The diagnosis was a wake-up call that propelled him into a new phase of his life. He described how after hearing the prognosis, he was initially devastated, but he made a conscious decision to focus on his work and not on his illness. In his own words, "My expectations were reduced to zero when I was 21. Everything since then has been a bonus." Hawking's response to his diagnosis was nothing short of heroic. His determination to continue with his academic work, even as his body deteriorated, became a defining feature of his character. With the support of his family and his brilliant mind, he pushed forward, undeterred by the physical limitations that odds imposed on him.
The rise of a scientific icon. In the years following Iversis, Dearbless Stephen Hawking Ginais. In this Stephen Hawking health continued to decline. By the late 1960s, he was using a wheelchair and his academic career was flourishing. In 1971, Hawking published his first major book, The Large-Scale Structure of Space-Time, which focused on the behavior of space-time and the nature of black holes. This work solidified his reputation as one of the leading physicists of his generation. Hawking's research into black holes would soon produce one of his most revolutionary discoveries, building on the earlier work of physicists like Albert Einstein and Roger Penrose. Hawking developed the theory of Hawking radiation, which proposed that black holes are not entirely black, but rather they emit a form of radiation. This discovery had profound implications for our understanding of the universe. According to the theory, black holes could eventually evaporate over time, contradicting the previous belief that nothing could escape their gravitational pull. Hawking's work on black holes earned him widespread recognition, and by the 1980s, he was regarded as one of the world's foremost cosmologists. His ability to tackle some of the most complex questions in physics, despite his debilitating illness, was nothing short of extraordinary. In 1988, he published Dear A Brief History of Time, a book that would become a global bestseller and bring his work to an even wider audience. Written for the general public, A Brief History of Time aimed to explain the fundamental concepts of physics, cosmology, and the nature of the universe in an accessible way. The book became one of the most successful science books ever published, selling millions of copies worldwide. At the same time, Hawking's personal life began to evolve. In 1965, he married Jane Wilde, a fellow student at Cambridge, and the couple had 3 children, Robert, Lucy, and Timothy. Jane was a constant source of support throughout Hawking's illness, managing the many challenges that came with his physical deterioration while also caring for their family. Hawking, meanwhile, continued to work tirelessly on his research and writing. However, by the late 1980s, their marriage began to show signs of strain. The pressure of caring for a severely disabled partner, combined with Hawking's demanding professional commitments, put a significant strain on their relationship. In 1990, after 25 years of marriage, Stephen and Jane divorced. Despite the end of their marriage, they remained close, and Jane continued to support him throughout his life, living with ALS. A triumph of technology and willpower. As Stephen Hawking's physical condition worsened, his reliance on technology to communicate and perform daily tasks increased. By the mid-1980s, he had lost the ability to speak clearly and relied on a handheld clicker to communicate through a computer system that could generate speech. In 1997, Hawking lost the use of his fingers, making it impossible for him to use the clicker. However, a new system was developed that allowed him to communicate using a cheek muscle, which was still under his control. This speech-generating device became a central part of Hawking's identity and was instantly recognizable to millions of people around the world. Despite the increasing severity of his illness, Hawking continued to work, giving lectures and making public appearances. He became known not only for his intellectual achievements but also for his wit and sense of humor. He made several memorable appearances in popular culture, including on The Simpsons, Star Trek, The Next Generation, and The Big Bang Theory. These appearances helped to cement his status as both a scientific icon and a beloved public figure. In addition to his scientific work, Hawking became an outspoken advocate for people with disabilities. He spoke openly about the challenges of living with ALS and the importance of scientific research in improving the quality of life for those with debilitating conditions. Hawking's own life was a testament to the power of perseverance, and he often emphasized the importance of living life to its fullest. Despite the difficulties one may face, legacy and the end of the journey, Hawking's contributions to science were immense, and his impact on the field of cosmology and theoretical physics cannot be overstated. His work on black holes, the nature of the universe, and the origin of time reshaped our understanding of the cosmos. He showed the world that even in the face of immense physical limitations, the human mind can continue to explore, discover, and create. In 2014, Hawking published The Theory of Everything, a memoir that chronicled his life and scientific career. The book was adapted into a biographical film starring Eddie Redmayne as Hawking. The film, which was released in 2014, introduced Hawking's story to a new generation of audiences, further cementing his place in the global consciousness. On March 14, 2018, Stephen Hawking passed away at the age of 76, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire people around the world. His death, on the 139th anniversary of Albert Einstein's birth, seemed fitting, as he had long been considered one of the greatest minds of his era. Hawking's life story is one of triumph over adversity. He defied the odds, not only surviving ALS for more than 50 years, but also achieving scientific greatness. He showed the world that the human spirit, when fueled by curiosity, determination, and intellect, is capable of overcoming even the most daunting challenges. His contributions to our understanding of the universe will continue to shape the field of physics for generations to come, and his personal story will remain a testament to the power of resilience and the human will to live fully, no matter the obstacles. Stephen Hawking's life is a reminder that even in the face of the most crushing challenges, we can all find ways to rise above and make a lasting impact on the world. His legacy is not just in the formulas and theories he developed, but in the example he set for future generations of scientists, thinkers, and dreamers.